Pollinator Health Advisory Committee, also a Green Thumb, also, land trust, all of those things. When I retired, it was like, oh, what am I going to be? I've been a medical social worker for 42 years. What am I going to do? And I saw Doug Tallamy's video, which if you haven't seen it, it's a must. Because he really talks about how climate change is connected with our biodiversity and the lack thereof. And so we're here really fighting climate change, really supporting the insects that support our food, the birds' food, our whole environment, our whole earth. So I commend you that you're making a huge difference. And when you plant, they come. And it's just amazing what you'll see. I mean, it's just like your yard will come alive with buzzings, with everything else. The first year, most of the plants are a host plant. That means that the insects and everybody butterflies can lay their eggs and the caterpillars can live. Now, they're only going to live as long as those chickadees don't eat them. But that's the whole point. And that's really what, most of you have heard about the monarch. Yes, they like to have nectar, and it's very helpful. But what they really need is the host plant for the caterpillar to live so that they can become a butterfly. And that is any of these milkweeds that we're offering. Now, the first year, those milkweeds will have leaves and there'll be a plant. I remember my own personal story was my first year, the plant came up and the bunny ate it. and I'll talk about bunnies and deer. But I was going away to see my grandson, so I was like, what am I going to do? So I didn't have any equipment, and it was just this one couple plants. So I got a liquor box, left it open at the top, open at the bottom, and just made like a box cage. And I came back and I was like, they got eaten. And then I looked closer, and I had 2 monarch caterpillars eating it. So yes, it was getting eaten by the right people. So that's really what we're going to do. And this is the end product that you're looking for. This is what you're going to be making, okay? So this is a reused jug. So inside, I can look down and say, oh, these are more than 4 inches. And you later can come over and take a look. But I'm going to pull the tape off. Now the tape is on to maintain moisture and keep the critters out. And you maintain moisture in this greenhouse by having holes in the bottom, snow and rain in the top. And all of the seeds, not these, because these are peas, but even peas do like cold. But all of the seeds we have need cold stratification. So they have to freeze, thaw, freeze, thaw. So this weather right now is perfect. And if they're going to get rain, but they're going to get freeze, they're going to get, they're going to dry out a little bit, and then go freeze, thaw. So you can see I have a hinge. I cut the instructions. Oh, I got my finger caught. I planted this 2 weeks ago inside, well, in my sunroom, so it got a little cold. But that's actually a little higher than what you're going to transplant. Okay? But you see, I have a hinge, and that gives me a solid. I can feel the weight and know that it's plenty moist. And then, you're my first group, so we'll see what we're going to do here.
How do we get the holes in the bottom?
So you can do it with a drill, with a soldering iron.
Yeah, they were drilled.
So you can see lots of roots. And you can see there's a natural divide in the milk jug. So normally what I will do when I'm transplanting this is I'll just pull it apart, and then I'll pull the halves apart. And then they can go right into a pot or into soil. And the first year they need lots of water to be sure that they keep growing. Will this guy go back? Yeah, he'll go back in for the next session. Peas? Yeah, peas are perennial. No, these are all perennials that you're getting. These are annuals. So that's what you're aiming for. And what we've done is we've taken wild bergamot is a real blessing for all of the wildlife, the bees, the butterflies, the hummingbirds, the flies, everybody. And when you look at the seeds, and you can come up and all of these seeds are ready, you'll see that it is extremely tiny. So we pre-measured for you. Now I've got dirty hands, so it's harder to see. But when you open it up, what you're going to want to do is pour it in your hand. Now, that's what I have in my hand. The reason I don't know if anybody can see before I dump it. The reason that we pre-measured is when I, in the past, didn't pre-measure, and I just put it, I want lots of plants, I'm going to put lots in there. They were so crowded that nobody could grow. So that's a good number of that's a lot. And so what you're going to do is take a pinch and then spread it around your jug. So, yeah, I got ahead of myself a little bit here. Sorry. So this is wild bergamot. It'll just go on there and we can keep it. So what you do is you take your jug. It's got the holes, 8 holes in it. You take your dirt, hold it over the thing, put the dirt in right up to the edge.
You want to go 4 inches.
What sort of dirt?
Yeah, what kind of soil is it?
So we're using sterile organic soil.
Mix.
Yeah, but you can use any other. I'm doing this because I really didn't want jumping worms, and I wanted to be sure that it was healthy soil. So you can use whatever you want. But I was very worried about importing any jumping worms from anywhere. So I pat it down. It's moist. I sprinkle my seeds. The tiny seeds, then you will just take one of these spray bottles and moisten the seeds to make sure they have contact.
Where'd you get those bottle tops? Those are really cute.
Got them at Amazon. I know. Oh, it's disappointing. And then you tape all the way around. That keeps the critters out, keeps the moisture in, and you leave it outside not on pavement, because pavement gets very hot. I suggest you put a piece of cardboard down. I had a lot of worms that enjoyed joining. I don't have jumping worms in my yard, but if you do, and you don't want to have them feed on it, then I would put a cardboard down. I also use cardboard for creating mulch. What is this? What I do is I just cover lawn or weeds with cardboard, and then I can put this on, or I can put other dirt to hold it down. And that kills all the weeds and lawn. At the same time, you're preventing critters from coming up through. But that's not important. I mean, most of the time I just throw it out on the edge of my garden and leave it there until May. And about April, May, you look down in and you go, oh, there's little guys coming. And by mid-June, you'll see that they're getting to be about this size. And that's the size where you want to transplant them. And first year I took each one apart, and they really don't like that. They like a small cluster. And you have better chance of them doing. And when you plant, what you're going to do is put it under a tree that lets light in. That's a good spot. Let it germinate. And then when you transplant it, you want to do it in sort of clusters so you get a real bush of color when they bloom the second year. I use fencing around. I have what I call a rabbit fence that I don't dig it in or anything. I just circle it around. You can get these from Dollar Store. And they're trash can, turn them upside down, no critter's gonna eat it. And they're gonna eat this because it's so nutritious. It's full of nutrition, and that's why the deer, the rabbits, they go for this first. They even went for my milkweed, so nothing is sacred, okay?
So how did you get those to grow so quickly? They always inside?
Peas grow really fast.
So you,
Warm in hers,
okay.
sunroom.
Well, it was cold, warm, cold, warm.
What do you do if they grow before June? You
You can put them out.
Oh, you can?
Oh, yes, yeah. Native plants like the weather, for sure.
So are they won't freeze and?
No, because that's what they want.
Right, perennials, these are all perennials, and if they were growing out naturally, they would go to seed, the seeds would drop, they would come up the next year. We're giving them kind of a boost up by protecting them, but putting your jugs outside, remember to do that, your jugs do go outside, and protecting them from little critters while they're in the jug, and then as they come up, they should be healthy enough to split apart and transplant.
We would hope to have lupins, which do germinate really quickly, and they fill up, and you then would be planting them out in May because they really get big fast. But they were all sold out.
Which kind of seeds are the ones that need this cold and warm?
All of these,
All of them.
all except for the partridge pea.
Well, the ones you're providing, but
Yes.
tomatoes and things like that.
Gardens, vegetables do not, as a whole. None of them do.
Okay, so all the flowers that would grow here? that-
If it's a native plant, most like the seed is needed to do this. If it's a cultivar, one that's been created by man or brought in from Asia or somewhere else in the world, or everywhere, then they don't need the cold stratification. They also don't provide healthy nectar, and they're not a host plant.
So you stay with native wild plants.
Right. Yes. Otherwise, you're really not providing biodiversity and helping our earth. Yes.
What season would you recommend this process works? Like, we're doing it in January, but you would.
Some seeds need 60 days of cold stratification, some need 30. So it depends on the seeds. And we have a lot of seeds, so more will be available through the library, because this is sponsored by the Concord Public Library. And sponsored by Verrill. They're giving us this space. So please do shop before you leave, because we want to encourage them to truly, they have done this now the second year. And this is a big, we've really taken over their space. So appreciate it.
Can I ask, are you going to go over about picking how to separate, like which plants to put in the ground?
You can put them all in the ground.
Put all of them in?
You can
don't
put them
need to-
all in the ground.
You don't need to weed out?
No,
Okay.
no.
And the other thing is, you have this soil, which is really good. Say you need to supplement your soil.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much of a buffer do you think?
Native plants like bad soil. Okay, so when you say you need to supplement it, I don't know what you mean, because this table tends to be on more of the wet side. And all of these are full or part shade, part sun. But, you just put them out. Mostly what you're going to be fighting is the animals.
I'll also mention, I did this last year, and some of my jugs didn't really do much. And I don't know if it was all the rain we were getting, but finally come August, I was like, oh, these are ready now. I can put these out now. So don't panic if you don't see much in June. The chances are they're going to come up if you...
The milkweed takes a long time to germinate, because they create rhizomes in the ground. So you won't see them above, but they're working down. All of these will be putting roots in first, and then greenery up. Yes?
So it's 1 seed packet per jug.
Yes.
And Is it 1 jug per person?
3 jugs per person. So what I want you to do, and that's why I didn't want to do this, before you put the dirt in, take a China pencil or a gardener's pencil, not a Sharpie, and write what you're planting.
These are on your table.
Where are the seeds themselves?
Everybody has a packet. Where's my label? Yeah, hold on, I got one here. Okay, thanks.
Is that
And-
the only one we're going to be planting? Or we
No, so what we're doing.
A couple more quick things.
Can I finish? Yeah. Okay. Before you put the dirt in, right on outside, take one of our marvelous labels and write it in the China pencil on the inside, because you will see that this might get worn off or evaporate or rub down. You want to be able to know what you have inside and outside. If you're doing a larger seed, like a butterfly weed, which is a common milkweed, you will want to put some sand on top to just hold it in. And that's just enough to sort of to anchor it, so it doesn't sort of float around. Yes?
Keep the soil fluffy or?
No, you pat it down, then you put the seeds on, and then you water it to make sure it has contact.
Okay.
So, and with the case of the milkweeds, what you want to do is pat it down, put the seeds on, put some sand on it, and then water it.
How many seeds do you take out and put in the,
So your packet is for 1 jug.
okay.
And we have more packets that are pre-measured. Here we have, one of my new loves is purple love grass, which is very prevalent. You can see we really need a lot. These seeds are so tiny. So you go in, do it over the plate, measure it out, have your jug right there, and you can either put it in your hand or you can tap, tap, tap to spread it around. Oh, I'm sorry. Good point. So you take a measure, and then you can tap, tap, tap. But you can see that probably is, I don't know, 50 seeds.
Wow.
It's a lot of seed in there for a big spoon.
Are we using all the seeds in the packet?
1 packet, 1 jug. Okay, thank you. So yes? So a second. What? I still can't hear you.
Do the flowers bloom this year or next year?
Some will bloom this year, some will start next year. They can go back to